in the next 60 minutes.
But first up, let's invite Rohit Srivastava of IndiaCharts.com on the show now. Rohit, on the cusp of hitting those all-time high levels on the Nifty and the Sensex, we've been waiting for it for a while now, and it looks like finally we could be getting there very, very soon. Your thoughts on the market setup and how we are positioned?
So my sense is that this rally is getting to the point where it's a little fatigued. The reason I say that is that we are seeing a slight loss in volume. Specifically, if we look at the Nifty 1-month futures market for the last 2 days, volumes are down to almost around 56 lakh shares traded, which is the lowest, I think, since September. We're also not seeing participation from the broad market in general. So if you look at the mid and small cap indices, they are really not making new highs. Compared to even the highs that we made in September. The Nifty's gone past that. Bank Nifty's made a new all-time high in between, but the mid and small cap indices are remaining way behind the curve as far as the market is concerned. So my sense is whatever started at the beginning of October, we thought it was a bear market rally in terms of the short positioning that had been built up at that point of time. Most of those got covered in the month of October. In November, what we've seen is an extension of that rally. And I think the short squeeze is definitely over. We are seeing continued momentum on some liquidity that is still there, but the momentum is really slowing down. Like I said, when we look at the trading volumes and the participation of stocks across the board, and so that's my near-term concern. I think there's room for a correction to really kick in. And we'll try to judge the size and scale of that. But right now, we really want to be booking gains wherever possible and taking a step back from the market.
So when you say there's room for correction, Rohit, good morning. What would your view be on the downside? Because we were speaking to Lawrence Valanco of CLSA, and he mentioned that the base or the floor for this market has moved higher now to around 16,000. Do you feel the same? And what could the extent of the correction be, if at all?
So I'm trying to keep it open because if I put a limit to the downside, it might even limit what changes are going to happen in the global environment. Because so much that we are so focused on things like inflation numbers for a particular month. The data analysis shows that the inflation data could really remain stickier, which means the Fed on course will have raised rates and then kept them higher for a period of time. And that can mean that, US earnings really slow down quite a bit. Now, unless that narrative really changes, I'd want to be open to whatever downside risk that is, which is, we have to judge between, say, the 20-month average, which could be, 15,500. So that's sort of close to 16,000. But that's in the big picture. In the near term, what really ended up happening in October is we took support on the 20-week average at 16,800. That may move up to closer to 17,000. So that's the first level we'll really look at for support in any kind of sell-off. In the shorter term, we'll also look at around, I think 17,500 is going to be a support on daily charts. So I'll go level by level. We'll look at whether 17,500 holds, then we'll look at whether that breaks, then do we go to 17,000. But having said that, the upside is going to slowly get capped, and that's, I think, more important in terms of what action we really need to take at this point of time, and being a little careful because we can get carried away, which is somewhat what you see in the index futures. Like if you just look at the premiums over the last couple of days, 50 to 70 points in the current month, and December month yesterday quoted at one point almost 175 points higher than spot. For December futures, which is pretty high. It shows that people are willing to pay a high premium to hold on to their long positions, which is sort of complacency in my sense. And we'd really not want people to be complacent at this point of time.
All right. By the way, the Nifty Bank is at a fresh high. That one is up significantly right now. It's 0.3% higher. Their new high made on the Nifty Bank, 42,515 is what we have there, led by the likes of Kotak Bank, which is the top gainer on the Nifty. Also have strength coming through from ICICI Bank. HDFC Bank, by the way, this month has done very well. It's up around 8%, for the month alone. Rohit, thanks for joining us. This is Pavitra. What do you make of the Nifty Bank move? And also, if you could take us through specifically what's going on in the PSU banks, do you think that with this kind of up move that we've already seen, a lot of it is already in and maybe it could be quiet from here on, or do you think there's room for lots more over here as well?
So very short term, I think the upper band for the bank Nifty is at around 42,600. If it does push beyond that, then maybe around 42,800. So those are going to be the upper levels we look at in the near term. But looking at some point, the bank Nifty also cooling off and pulling back, like I said, for the Nifty. In the short term, if I had to put a support level, I would say somewhere around 40,600 is the support, as in when a correction kicks in for the short term. If that breaks, then we look at lower levels. So these would be the immediate levels on the up and down side. Now, asking about PSU banks, I do think we are at the fag end of at least the current move, and the reason is that we are seeing explosive volumes in the sector. So if I just pull up the Nifty PSU bank index and look at the volumes of the PSU bank index, they're very, very similar to last couple of peaks that occurred in the index itself from where they corrected. And so when you see that level of enthusiasm in volumes being traded every day, I think you're closer to the end of this move. We would probably like to see a pullback before we, consider entries again for the sector.
How long do you think this impending correction in the market could last, Rohit? Because typically towards the year end, we all anticipate that Santa Claus rally. Should we dismiss the possibility of an up move towards the end of this calendar year?
So what I look for is something more immediate, which means, see, we are in November, say we are 16. So even if I give it 4 weeks, it's possible that, the rally you're talking about in terms of a Santa Claus rally could kick in sometime later in December. But it's not necessary. If we just go back 1 year, last year, we actually saw a sell-off in Indian markets all through December. So I'm not betting on that possibility. We'll really want to see this pullback develop before we really take a call whether there's going to be a year-end rally or not.
All right, got that, Rohit. But on that note, we're going to leave it today. Thank you very much for joining us and taking us through